It's time to talk about acronyms. Hey everyone, Dylan Schumacher, Citadel Defense, and we are here today to talk about acronyms. There are some really helpful acronyms that we should steal from Big Army, and this is one of them. This is the LACE report. I will try to put fancy words right here as we talk. So LACE report, L-A-C-E, right? A LACE report is a quick status report from your average rifleman, your Minuteman rifleman, you, me, whoever, to our, superior, right? To our team lead or our patrol lead to let them know what our status is, right? So typically we break this down on a green, yellow, red, and some people use, we do in my crew, you might not, black basis, right? So for example, LACE, L. The L stands for liquid. How much water do you have on you, right? You're gonna have probably different SOPs for how much water you should carry. That means you're green, right? But typically yellow, is gonna be at like 50 to 75%. So, if you've been walking for a while, you've been out for 4 hours and everybody tells you they're green on water, either they're lying or they don't understand the system, right? Because they're not drinking water, and that's a big problem, right? So you need to be consuming the water, right? Just because you're yellow doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. If you're yellow on water, but you've been out for 10 hours, well, that's actually probably pretty good, depending, right? You should know where you're at. So water, one of the most important things to check. Easy to go down from dehydration, especially when you're out and you're under gear and it's hot and you're moving, right? So we need to check water levels. 2, ammo, right? How much ammo do you have? Typically we give this in full mags. We don't care about partials. Typically we only care about full mags. So again, let's say you started out with 6 on your chest rig, 1 in your gun. You started with 7 and you just got into an engagement. You should be yellow. If you're still green, that's a problem. It means you weren't shooting, right? And if we haven't been shooting, you should still be green. But maybe you crossed the stream, maybe someone took a spill and they didn't have their mags secured properly because they weren't wearing a Spectre chest rig, right? Free plug there. They weren't wearing a good chest rig, or they didn't have them secured or whatever, and they dumped 2 mags in the river. And now they're yellow on mags, right? Or God forbid they dump a bunch and now they're red, right? That could happen. That could happen. So it's important to we'll get to this more, but LACE reports often. C, casualty. Now I define casualty as everything from like a blister on your toe to all the way up to a KIA, right? We run the whole gamut. And there's a reason that we do that. It's if we can take care of little things early, we can prevent them from becoming big things. So when I ask my guys for a LACE report, right, I mean like, hey, do you need to change your socks? Is your toe uncomfortable? Is your boot rubbing you the wrong way? Is your pack strap all twisted and it's like bearing down to your shoulder and it's gonna cause like your muscle to knot up? Like, I wanna know all the little bitty things. Does that mean we're gonna stop right now and fix it? Well, no, it doesn't. But it does mean that, okay, I can know about that. I can know that there's an issue and that when we get a chance, we're gonna stop so that, Frank can change his socks or put some tape on his blister or whatever, right? That's what we wanna know. So the C on casualty is everything, like I said, from a little blister or a little cut all the way up to like a KIA. And we need to understand what the overall health is of our team. Because if someone has a blister and you don't know, and we had a chance to stop and take care of it, but we didn't because we didn't know that we were getting a blister, right? And then we kept rucking and now it's turned into a big problem and now they're not gonna be able to complete the mission when we could have fixed that earlier. That's a problem, right? That's a problem. And then the last one is liquid ammo casualty. Oh my gosh. LACE report. Liquid ammo casualty. Oh my gosh. Liquid ammo casualty. Equipment. Wow, that was a struggle. I just stood here for like 5 minutes trying to remember what the E was because I just could not remember for the life of me. But E is equipment, okay? Liquid ammo casualty equipment. So equipment, like, is your ruck all messed up, or maybe in the last engagement your radio took a bullet and so that's fried, or maybe the battery died, or it's just stopped working because radios are finicky, or you know, the sole of your boot ripped off or whatever, like your shoelaces got cut and now you got to like there's equipment issues that you just have, right? And so typically, you know, the way you'll do lace reports is if you're green across the board, it says, hey, all green, or, you know, green, yellow on water, something like that. That's how you can give and receive lace reports. So usually it looks like, hey, I'm going to come up to a guy, I'm going to say, hey, give me a lace report. And they'll say, you know, all green, or, you know, green, yellow on water, yellow on ammo. And then I'll know, right? Or, you know, green, but I got a blister on my foot or something like that. That way we can know. Again, are we going to stop everything just to handle little problems? No, but when we get a chance, we will stop everything to handle little problems so they don't turn into big problems, right? Typically, lace reports flow up through a team. So you have a fire team, right? Four-man fire team. And the team leader will consolidate those lace reports. So for example, let's say, you know, there's one guy is red on ammo because they just had an engagement. Another guy was pulling rear security, so he actually didn't get to shoot at all. So he's green. Well, he's going to cross-load mags, right, to help balance the mag load out in his group. And then he'll report up, you know, my team's yellow on ammo, right, rather than red, right? Or, you know, he would make the decision of like, okay, hey, you know, you got that blister on your foot, take your boot off right now. You know, Bob, you pull security for Frank. Frank, tape that up. We're going to move in 5. Let's go. You know, like you can make those decisions. So the team leader kind of handles what he can, and then he reports up to the patrol leader, right? Patrol leader consolidates from all his teams, makes decisions from there. So that's typically how we want to run lace reports. You really can't take lace reports too often. You know, the typical rule, I think, is like every 15-ish minutes, you want to be getting a lace report, right? Because again, you want to make sure you guys are drinking water. If they keep telling you they're green on water the whole time, that's a problem. That should be a cue to you to like, wait a second, either they're lying or they're not drinking water. In any event, that's a big problem, right? I need to make sure they're drinking water. They shouldn't be green on water. We've been out here for 3 hours. They should be yellow. They should be drinking water. Otherwise, we're about to get a red in casualty because someone's going to dehydrate, right? Like you need to think through that. So every 15-ish minutes, and then, you know, anytime you halt or there's a SEALs halt, you're going to want to do that. Anytime you cross some kind of obstacle, like if you cross a stream or a river, be a good time to take a lace report. Make sure no one lost anything, right? Tell them, hey, check your equipment, make sure we're done there, make sure you got everything, make sure you didn't lose anything. Especially if they took a spill, right? Which happens. It happens all the time. And then after any enemy engagement, right? So in practice, right, what this looks like is, let's say you set up some targets and you go ambush some paper targets and you're going to rat-tat-tat those targets. Well, then after, right, you're going to move off the objective, you're going to take a lace report, right? Okay, well, how are we doing? Again, if everyone's green on ammo, that's a problem. Why are you green on ammo? We just ambushed the targets, right? It should be yellow. So the black, by the way, at the bottom there, that is empty. That's completely empty. So usually it's, you know, green, yellow, red, depending on how much you have, right? And then black means completely empty. So if you're black on water, all of your canteens are completely empty. If you're black on ammo, you do not have a single bullet left. Some people find the black thing helpful, some people don't. You do you. I like to use it for like, hey, completely empty, absolute zero. We got a big problem here. But hopefully people have been honest in their lace reporting and you've been planning ahead so that you don't ever get to black. That should be the preferred method of what we should do, right? I find lace reports to be a super helpful little mini report to get in the field. You can't really take them too often. They're super good to practice. They're super good in training environments just to modulate your training day. You know, if you're gonna be out with the boys for 4, 6, 8, 12 hours, being able to grab those lace reports throughout the day a couple times an hour really helps you understand the pacing, right? I mean, in the casualty, just one more thing on that, I even like to include like if someone's tired, right? We've been out here for 8 hours, like, man, I'm yellow on casualty, I'm just tired, you know? It's 90 degrees out here and I'm just tired. Like, that's okay. Again, doesn't mean we're gonna fold in and quit right now, but it does mean, okay, I can kind of modulate where we're at in the training and maybe we can, you know, take a break, take a breather, maybe whatever. So I hope that's helpful. Hope that gives them to think about. I hope that gives you a good summation of lace reports and is an effective tool that you can add into your training environment in order to be a more effective and dangerous Minuteman. Do brave deeds and endure.